Welcome, brothers and sisters. You are in a great place right now, and I pray that you stay to the end of this video because I'm going to talk about yet a great group of people that live in Africa, the Luhya people. And I want to prove that the Luhya people are Israelites, that they're the children of God, and that their God, Yahweh, Yahweh, is Yahweh of the Bible. Listen to the similarities to the God of the Bible, the Old Testament. His name is Yahweh. That's his proper name, Yahweh. The Luhya call him Nyasae. Nyasae, Yahweh. It's the same God. The Luhya people are calling their supreme being the exact name is Yahweh. There's really no difference. Yasae, Yahweh. And it's no coincidence because the Luhya people are the children of God, the children of Israel. The Luhya people and the related ones, well let's put them into the proper geographical context. There are significant populations of Luhya people in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, and they're related to the Great Lakes Bantu people. And it has been written, extensively written. Many people, European historians, have written about Israelites being in those areas, coming into Africa from Israel and settling. The Bantu expansion over Africa is is really what it really is the expansion of the Israelites into Africa, coming from Israel in the Middle East. That's what it is. And so let's take a look at this. I'll just start right here. This book is called The Hebrew Heritage of Black Africa. I strongly recommend it. I brought it from Amazon for a very reasonable price. It's written by a European Jew, and his name is Stephen Jacobs. Now, listen to what it says on the front. It says Jacobs, a European Jew and historian, confirms the presence of black Hebrews, Israelites, and Jews throughout the length and breadth of the motherland, Africa, centuries ago and now. So here is a European Jew, and he's confessing, he's admitting that throughout from Africa, going from the top to the bottom, and going from one side of Africa all the way to the other, is filled with there's many black Hebrews, Israelites, and Jews, and especially in sub-Saharan Africa. And this is something that should have been taught from the very beginning, but the Luhya people's heritage and the heritage of the Israelites, the related peoples, have been covered over. They've been hidden. And when the Europeans came, they took the Bible that our ancestors wrote, and they took it and changed the images to look European. But it's not European. The Bible it was in Africa. Think about it. It's written. The Bible's written by black Africans, and it was centered in Africa. There were no Europeans there, and no Europeans surely could have written the Bible, and they were not the Israelites. And the Bible doesn't even speak about Europeans in great detail until later on in the Bible. So the foreword says, Stephen S. Jacobs, a European Jew, has beyond the shadow of a doubt fully documented in this book the Hebrew heritage of black Africa, that the Hebrews, Israelites, Jews of biblical times were of the black race and lived on the African and Asian, Middle East region continents of the world. Did you hear that? The Israelites, the Hebrews, were of the black race, and they lived in the African and Asian, Middle East region continents of the world, Africa. This book is a must read for people of all races and belief systems for it satisfies the need to dispel the lies which have enveloped the minds of the masses into believing that the white European Jews are the original people of the book and the chosen people of God expressed throughout the Bible. More and more white Jews, especially the older ones, are acknowledging in secret to those of us who already know that the original Jews were black. Okay, scores of authors, black and white, have now written extensively over the last 50 or more years on the subject of the presence of black Hebrew Israelites, not only on the continents of Africa and Asia, but on other continents as well. So, um, so what's happening all in Africa and all over the world? There's Almighty God Yahweh is awakening his children, awakening to find out again that they're the children of God. He's doing this for a reason because the Bible prophecies are opening up. Things that were written about many years ago are coming to pass now. And so uh, the purpose of this is to call people back to their Almighty God Yahweh. Understand the Luhya people and all the related people. Let me tell you something. All Bantus and the people, the natural speakers of the Niger Congo languages who are Bantu related in West Africa, okay, and all over sub-Saharan Africa, hundreds of millions of people are the true Israelites, the true children of God, the race known as Negroes. There's a lot of different black people all over the world, but the race known as Negroes, which Luhya people are part of, they are the ones, we are the ones that's Israelites. You can tell by the way we look, our skull structure, the kinky hair, brown to different color shades, but we're all black. Now, on page 51 of this book, and it's very telling what this says. I don't have anything specifically about the Luhya people as a just a group, but I have something on the Bantus, information in the related West Africans. It says Central Africa, Congo, Angola, Kenya, etc. In chapter 3, we noted that scholars believe that there is a common origin for the Ashanti and the Bantu peoples. Understand that this is significant because most of the people, such on the on the west coast of Africa, such as the Ashanti and the Igbo people and the Yoruba and the Ewe and Dangbe and others, are all related. Okay, they're all related to the Ashanti. So once you figure that out and you realize that the Bantu are related to the Ashanti, you realize, and they all come from the same place, you realize how vast this really is now. It's very many people, Israelites living in Africa, in the Luhya are one of the peoples. Hundreds of millions of people there are the children of God in sub-Saharan Africa alone. Let's keep going. It says that the Ashanti have migrated to the west coast, roughly parallel to the southern edge of the Sahara Desert. The Bantu, by contrast, moved mainly to the south, so that today they occupy nearly the entire southern half of the continent, from Congo and Zaire on the west to Mozambique on the east, and southward to the very southernmost tip called the Cape of Good Hope. Our knowledge of their Hebrew traditions simply confirms and reinforces what we already know about West Africa, that the Hebrew strain exists in Black Africa far more extensively than most people realize. This is big, people. This is very big, Luhya. And so, some of this I won't read to save time. This speaks of the Israelites in Congo. It speaks of the Israelites in the Bantus in Angola. And it speaks of the ones in French Equatorial Africa, known as the Central African Republic. Now, at the bottom of the page, it says Father Giuseppe Siati spent several years at the Kaheri Catholic Mission in Kenya. In a manuscript written in September 1932, he says it can be easily concluded that the Agakoyo have had some contact with the Hebrews after their department from Egypt. So what he's saying is there's some they can see that there's Hebrew heritage in them. And guess what? The Israelites were in Egypt many times. Let's see. Let me see if I can go into that. On page 53, in summary, we see that Hebrew religion and culture permeated Black Africa from coast to coast and represents the very heart of native civilization. However, it may be changed or become corrupted through the centuries. As a consequence, there can be no doubt that the close personal contact made between the peoples of Black Africa and those from the ancient Hebrew Middle East. Okay, a lot of the people who are in Africa now, who thought of as Africans, are actually from the Middle East. And the Bantus and the West African people, related people, are Middle Eastern. It gives logic to the view that Black Africa is made of Hebrew blood, besides being rooted in its culture. Do you hear this? This is big. A lot of the things, a lot of the cultures that people such as Luhya have are rooted in Hebrew, are Israelite customs and practices all throughout Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. There are even similarities. There are similarities between the names that the West Africans and Bantus call the Almighty God Yahweh. They knew, the Luhya people and others know, they already knew who the supreme being was before the Europeans came and the missionaries, because their God was they already were worshiping the correct God. They knew that the supreme being is Yahweh of the Bible. Listen, the the Luhya people call the supreme being Nyasae. The Mende people call Yahweh Gewa. The Uganda people of Cameroon call God, or call Yahweh, Zamba. Zamba. Very similar. The Ashanti people uh call Yahweh Yame. The Dwala people call Yahweh. They call him Iwandi. The Bamova people call him Yenu. The Dagaba tribe calls him Nawin. The Dagomba tribe calls him Nawuni. The Frafra people call God Nagine. So you see, all of these people are related. They're Israelites. That's why their natural God, the natural God of these peoples, Israelite peoples, is Yahweh. As the Luhya people's natural God is Nyasae. There's Yahweh of the Bible, of the Old Testament. This is big, people. Weren't you told? Why did the missionaries tell you this? Why did nobody talk about this? Okay, I want to show you something. Now, one thing to know, I must tell the truth. Many Europeans know this, but they don't tell people. They don't tell. And you need to know who you are. People need to know. The Luhya people, many peoples, African peoples already know. But listen, this is proof. Africa is the homeland of Judaism. Okay? There is evidence that Abraham, the original Hebrew and father of the Israelites, was of Cushite or black descent. Abraham first traveled to Africa when he received permission to settle in the Middle East land of Canaan. Moses, in many respects, the founder of the Israelite way of life as we know it today, was born in Africa and therefore was an African. The first Passover, which was the prelude to the Exodus under the leadership of Moses, occurred in Africa. The scene of the all important Mosaic revelation on Mount Sinai took place in the Sinai Peninsula, adjacent to continental Africa. The Luhya peoples are Israelites, and their God, um, Nyasae, is Yahweh of the Bible. Peace and blessings.